Hello everybody, this is Hero. This is my Soul Level 6 New Game Plus Pure Black World Tendency playthrough of Demon Souls. We've just teleported to the 1-2, that's the Tower Knight Archstone of Boletarian Palace, and we're confronting the door that previously it had a big grey fog over the front, and if you walked up to it, which I didn't before, but if you walk up to it and try to progress further, it'd say that you needed the soul of an archdemon to continue to remove this fog. So an archdemon is basically the final boss of any of the other worlds. That's Stonefang Tunnel, Tower of Latria, Shrine of Storms, and the Valley of Defilement. So any of the final bosses of those, they are archdemons. And as soon as you kill one of those archdemons, you get their soul, obviously, and you can come back, and if you just walk up to the door like I just did then, the fog will lift and you can walk through and you can complete 1-3 if you want to. Now I didn't do this immediately, like right after I beat one of the other archdemons, because if you haven't beaten all of the archdemons available, after you beat 1-3 this level, you actually can't continue any further. Or actually, that's not true. You can continue into 1-4, but you can't actually reach the final boss, so you can go through all that trouble for basically nothing. Anyway, I believe that's how it worked, because I think I did that on my first playthrough. I killed an archdemon, and then I went and did 1-3, and then I did 1-4, and I think the front door of Boletarian Palace is closed. So the big castle where old King Allant is, I think the door is closed, I'm not entirely sure, or a dragon blocks your way, like even worse than it does in 1-4. So yeah, I think that's why I did it this way, because if I can just save Penetrator to be the second last boss, then I can just continue right on through and do Allant and then finish off the game. But before we start talking about the unfortunately named Penetrator, we have to actually beat the rest of this level, and it's a fairly long level if you don't know what's coming ahead, but if you know what's coming, then it can be, well, like any other game, it can go a lot faster. It's just that while I was doing this, it was, I have this excuse for every video, I think, but while I was recording most of this guide, it was usually fairly late, because that's the only time I really have to sit down and focus and play uninterrupted for a long time. And even though I might strictly know what's coming up next, I might just forget because it's late and the hour's not great and my memory's not doing fantastically. Because at the moment I'm just staring at this pile of boxes, and I can see the warrior behind it, and for a moment my head was just like, what do I do here? I thought they just burst through, but no, I think they burst through if you get within a certain proximity of the boxes and they surprise attack you like that, but I knew they were there. So the kinds of enemies that you'll face in this Archstone, you'll find the normal shit dudes that you've been facing the entire way through the Boletarian Palace, like the halberd guys, the spear dudes, the longsword guys with the shields, and you'll also face the crossbow guys, which I've said on multiple occasions that I hate. And you'll also run into a new kind of, I think, Blue Eyes Knight, who has a great sword, which is basically the Zweihander from Dark Souls, but it's just called, I think, Great Sword in this one. And you'll also run into a completely new enemy. I think they're just called thieves. They're like the ones from Dark Souls, except much more mean, because they do their backflips and everything, and they've got some curious invulnerability frames on that, but they're also wearing what appears to be the thief's ring, and kind of like what I'm wearing now. Like, when they kill me by throwing darts at me off screen, no, not off screen, but beyond the point where I can see them and lock onto them, I feel like this is what it must be like for the other like for the game to play against me. Because look, I couldn't even see it. I didn't even know that the arrow was coming, so I couldn't dodge out of the way. And I guess the game just cheesing me because I was trying to cheese it. So I thought I could be cheeky and like take out the thieves with the bow as well. But due to the way they fuck with your lock on a bit and disappear off screen, but they still have their throwing knives, which no matter if I'm like all the way up to my full health or just like this, they one-shot me. So what I've decided to do instead is this is me thinking and just trying to figure out how to lure them best. What I've decided to do is just put on the 100% physical block shield that I've got, the heater shield, and put on the S-stock as well. And the S-stock not only has fantastic reach, but like I've mentioned before, it has the amazing bitch perk, which means you can just attack the enemy while they're attacking you, and you can't take any damage from them if they don't have any magical or elemental bits on their weapons. So like right here, I just hit them 3 times, and even though like that's not completely safe because obviously I can't have the Morion blade out at the same time, so I can't just, you know, one-shot them with the S-stock. I need to poke them quite a few times. And right there you can see that my stamina wasn't exactly like full, because while you're blocking, obviously your stamina increases, so it regenerates at a slowed pace. And poking takes up quite a bit of actual... Sorry, no, why am I just stumbling over these words? Poking takes up quite a lot of stamina, so it's not completely safe, and I think the amount of stamina damage enemies do actually increases with further New Game Pluses. So if this had happened on New Game Plus 7, I can't tell you whether or not I would have been able to just bitch poke then like I did, because not only would they probably do more stamina damage, but obviously they'd have more health, so it'd probably take more pokes, and I'd have to be a bit more careful. So I'm not sure if that's something that would transfer over into a New Game Plus 7 playthrough. And something that's occurred to me while I've been commentating these and, you know, just editing them and, you know, all that kind of stuff, is that this character is currently on New Game Plus 2, and I'm thinking of taking it into New Game Plus 3, I think, because I honestly don't think I have the patience to take it into New Game Plus 7, but I would like to, I think at some point, do exactly what I'm doing now, but with a melee only character. So I'm not allowed to use the lava bow like I am now to make some of these encounters extremely simple. Because that's a very legitimate complaint to have when, you know, you're a viewer and you're expecting some entertainment, and depending on how the video that you're watching was sold to you, you expect to either see that you expect to see either skillful play or careful manipulation of the mechanics that the game gives to you. And some people are searching for, you know, you breaking the game like this can be sometimes, because like just before you saw that I killed the Red Eyes Knight with the greatsword by shooting it twice with arrows before it could even really see me. And right here you can see that these guys haven't even aggroed on me, and to make a really hardcore challenge run for Demon Souls, I'd say melee only Thief's Ring on New Game Plus or above, and that'd for sure be I'd say about, at least it'd take me about 5 times longer than it did to complete this one. So I think that's a good challenge to keep in mind for the future if you're in this bent and you want to do this kind of a thing. Although to be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure still how I'd even handle Leechmonger, you know, the 5-1, the Valley of Defilement's first boss, without using a bow or magic, because I don't know, it seems compulsory that you take damage while you're down there fighting it. So if you're fighting it with a melee weapon, you get hit by the leeches that are on the ground, and if if you're down there getting hit by the leeches on the ground and you're an NG plus and you're at base level, then it's only going to take like 3 or 4 seconds of being in the leeches to actually die. So I'm not quite sure how that would work. Maybe I'm overstating the difficulty of Leechmonger melee with, you know, low health, but every time I tried to get in there, and I tried about 6 or 7 times, I just died. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about it. I'm doing this commentary, and I'm also thinking about how that could possibly be done, because I think that's the kind of thing that I could try and experiment with. Maybe with a different build. Maybe use the duplication glitch to like get my soul level up really high, and then just run in and try and see if there's a specific way to get Leechmonger to not damage you while you're down there fighting it. Because that's how I learned things like bosses like the Four Kings and Gwyn in Dark Souls. I either leveled up a character or I used a trainer on the PC to give myself infinite health, and before you turn off the video, I would go in and fight with an unupgraded weapon to see how long I could go without getting hit, and to learn, you know, the ways I could evade some things. So I think what might be good is to just make a character for Demon Souls that's meant to just essentially be a practice character who can have like 99 vitality, and then we can just run through the game like that and just learn all the bosses off by heart. But I need to talk about what's happening on the screen right now, because this is fucking evil. Right now I've been really tentative so far because I couldn't remember where this spawn was, and I'm trying to trigger it right now because I've realized it's right here. You have to run through this tiny little corridor here, and if you don't run right back out of it straight away, like, you wouldn't even be able to roll out, I don't think, because look at this. 2 Black Phantom fat officials, or fat ministers, whatever they're called, just spawned. There was no indication that it would happen. It was only the fact that it was pure Black World tendency, and that I knew that this was coming, that allowed me to react to it with any sort of finesse. Because this is cheap. This right here, this is cheap. There was no warning. They boxed you in. Black Phantoms do an obscene amount of damage, and they have an obscene amount of HP. And not only that, but they're also fat ministers, and the fat ministers are notoriously good with activating their hyper armor when it's least convenient for you, so you can't even stun them if you have like a fire weapon or something. And I feel like this is something that I'd have to learn to deal with, and this would make me much better at the game if I decided to do that, you know, New Game Plus 3 Soul Level 6 Pure Black World tendency no ranged attack route of the game, because you would learn there's probably it feels like there aren't, but there are probably ways to manipulate the Phantom's movements so that they can only start up certain attacks when you're like in a certain, you know, degree viewing of them, and you know, you could circle around them properly and maybe only take 1 or 2 swings here or there, and they might not be able to attack. They might not be able to trigger their what are they called? Their hyper armor attacks like that. And that kind of a thing, that makes me excited, because I think, you know, hey, if I can learn this type of a thing, this would make me genuinely better at the game. It wouldn't just be, you know, watch me play a third-person shooter in Demon Souls and, you know, try and say that it was good, because, you know, try and say that this is good play, because it's, I don't know, this is... I want to be better at this game, and I feel like I'm already reasonably good at it. I want just a little bit more. I want to be able to say that I beat it differently to how I did this time. And I know that when I say this, and you know, I've already put all this effort into making this series of my own, which is about, I think by the end of the next video, it's about 5 hours long, and that means I've talked for 5 hours. Jesus Christ, I've never talked for 5 hours in my life. And I don't think that it'd be something that I'd record. Well, I think I'd record it, but I don't think it'd be something that I'd just release, as like this sort of a thing where I talk over the entire thing and tell you my thoughts and feelings and all that kind of a thing. And it'd, if I did talk over any of it, it'd probably just be the boss battles or certain enemy types to say, how I've learnt to deal with them. But this is still something I want to do when, regardless of whether or not it'd end up on the internet or on my channel, it'd probably end up on there in some way, just not in this particular format with this kind of commentary, because I don't think my way of speaking and my general tone of voice is very exciting to most people. So what I like to do is just do these things where I speak and talk on my thoughts and my experience and my experience with the mechanics of the game. And if I tried to release another one of these playthroughs with all this commentary over it, I feel like I'd just be like retreading old ground, basically. And I don't really want to be one of those channels that just puts out, playthrough after playthrough after playthrough after playthrough of these games, but there's something about them that always makes me want to keep playing and keep pushing myself to new heights. And like this at the moment, when I was doing this part of 1.3 and thinking, well, this is going really well, and I'm glad I figured out that you can use the lava bow like this and the thief stream because it makes this bit really easy. And right now I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at it in a bit of a negative light, because I'm going, well, this was actually very easy, this was ridiculously easy, why did I let myself do this? Why didn't I do it a bit harder? And then I realized, that was for the sake of my sanity and the fact that I wanted to get this out before my school holidays were finished and all that kind of thing, because I've got exams soon and that kind of thing, but that's staying out of the video. And I want to keep playing these games, and I want to keep making it interesting for myself. And this, I don't know, if anyone in the comments, anyone that's watched so far and have listened so far, you tell me what do you guys want, because I'm perfectly happy to keep playing these games, and I've got some PvP stuff that I want to do, but I'm not fantastic at PvP. Where I'm much better at PvE in any game than PvP, just because I'm not very good at PvP. I probably could get okay, but it'd take a long time, and the population in the games is dying down a bit, and at the moment I feel like my PvP experiences would be limited kind of on and off to just playing with friends and any subscribers that wanted to play, because I'm not going to separate the two, because subscribers, friends, you're all pretty much the same at this point, because the little tiny community that I have is so small at the moment. It's like I know each and every one of you by name, so it's nice to be able to converse with you, because I want to know what you guys want from me. I want to know what to do next with this channel, because I really want to continue it, and these games, I feel like they're in my blood at the moment. And don't just tell me the types of things that you'd want to see, this, like whether it's like Demon Souls or Dark Souls or this particular challenge run. Tell me, like, do you guys want me to keep the commentary? Do you want me to, stay silent? Do you want me to use text or annotations or whatever? Because this recording setup at the moment with the snowball and everything, I don't mind this. This is kind of fun, and I'm feeling myself get better at commentating with almost every video. There are some exceptions, like after I take a break for a while and get a bit rusty, but this is this is where I want to go with it, but I want to know, as I've said probably a few times now, I want to know what you guys want. Anyway, this is Penetrator, and the fact that you can't get his armor set in this game is criminal. I think that's a quote from someone else's playthrough, actually. I think Seraphim17's live Demon Souls playthrough, I think he said the exact same thing, that you can't get this guy's armor set, and it's criminal because it looks fantastic. You can get his sword, which is cool, and it's got some amazing reach on it, but you can't get his armor set. And this is my first attempt. This is just me using the Crescent Falchion, Falchion, because it's pronounced Falchion, but I've heard Falchion so much on videos and commentaries and just everybody calling it that I can't help but call it that. And I just mistimed a dodge then, and it wasn't bad, but my way of countering the Penetrator's attacks was a bit risky, because you roll in and maybe get 1 or 2 attacks, but I never quite knew whether to get 1 or 2, and so I switched to the Dragon Longsword, which is my most powerful weapon, and I put on the Eternal Warrior's Ring, which is the stamina regen ring, and right now this is the time that I figured out what was going wrong, and so I just figured out right then that I could roll forward and then hit the R2, and the R2 is fast enough, and it's the most damaging attack that the Dragon Longsword has without using other attacks as well, that you just roll in and it's almost completely safe. It's just the only thing that would make this better was if the Longsword was a bit longer, because right now I've just missed 2 attacks in a row. And so what I'm doing is I'm wanting to bait that attack, and then because I've been learning that this is how I'm going to be taking care of him, if I roll forward and then move a little bit inwards and take that swing again, then I can hit him. So this is me learning on the spot, because up to this point, this match, I had not figured out how to properly take care of Penetrator. This is that eureka moment that you have when you're facing a boss and you realize that, holy shit, this is the move that I punish, and this is how I punish it. Because look at that. Because he flinched then, because I'm learning on the way, because he flinched then from my first attack, I knew that it was reasonably safe to follow up with the second R2, and the second R2 after the first one with the Dragon Longsword is pretty damn fast, and it's also pretty damn damaging, because it does about 1300 points if you manage to hit both of them. And just like that, Penetrator's gone, I revived, and this is the end of 1-3. It didn't take too long to do, and it would have taken me longer. It wouldn't have taken me longer. It would have taken me about 15 seconds if I'd also brought Bior in, but that's not the point of this challenge. I wanted to be able to say I took him out by myself, so that's what I accomplished. And seeing as this was the end of 1-3, that was Penetrator, all we have left is 1-4 and Allant. I will see you in the next video.